What is going on, everyone? A special edition. We're here at a random time of the day, up in the Aussie evening. So it's new to Craig and I, but we absolutely love it. So huge show today, guys. We've obviously got the Dreamilio maker, creator, founder, Aura joining us today. How are you going, mate? Firstly, thank you so much for joining us on stream. I believe we were just chatting before going live that this is only the second time that you've been on a live stream. I know that Eli and a few other good creators over on Abstract have you lined up in the coming days as well. So absolutely privileged to get you on. Probably one of the first people. So Craig and I are stoked about that.
Yeah, it's the early scoop here. So, we can cover a lot of new ground that nobody's talked about before, I'm thinking.
I love it. I love hearing that. Craig, how you doing tonight, mate? Aussie, 8 o'clock Aussie time, beer o'clock for you, mate. How you feeling?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I haven't seen everyone for about 8 hours, Greeny, since this morning. So yeah, I'm still alive. Everyone, you'll be happy to know. I'm drinking my got a Sahi, so I'm not sponsored by them yet, but I should be. Put the kids through college, man. But no, I just want to second what Greeny said. Aura, stoked to have you here. Obviously, the elephant in the room's the collection you've just dropped, which was, we think, fucking sick. And I know you're a busy man, so thank you for jumping on. And yeah, hopefully we can get some alpha and have a good chat, man. And
Let's
cheers,
do it.
bro.
I'm glad to be here. Excited. Yeah.
So I suppose, Craig, do you want to start us off with you start with the questions tonight?
Yeah, look, typically I'd go with the get to know you, but I think like I said before, I wanted to kind of address the elephant in the room. You've dropped a collection, dude, that went like fucking nuts. So like, I guess give us a rundown on, I guess, a little bit. What was that like, dude? Like when it dropped and it took a little bit to mint out. Actually, I might let you talk, but run me through those emotions and feelings.
Yeah, so it was definitely like a weird sort of pace. It would speed up and slow down. So, before the mint, during our marketing, we had reached out to a lot of people. We'd actually been snowballing like a very small cult community for a while, but we're thinking, okay, we'll put the mint up. Going into it, we're very open to it being like a slow burn. But before the mint, actually, some creators and some folks on crypto Twitter called it out, like Clemente, and they said, he had I think he's got a show that he does daily, and he said, I'm max bidding this, and I think that put it in front of a lot of bodogos and other people and spread from there. So right before the mint, actually, the hype kind of exploded. So people thought it was going to mint out instantly, but there was still a slow mint there. So at that point, there was some people were shaken, and there was a lot of split feelings in the community. But we stuck with it, and what ended up happening was that there was a technical error in the mint where the collection we wanted to let it run a bit more and then maybe take back some of the supply, but that happened a bit early, so we took back a lot more of the supply than we thought were going to. So for me, actually, I was told we minted out before I even knew that. I saw a ping and I was like, oh, we're minted out, and I got on my PC and I said, well, what do you mean? So after everything post mint was a very we had to be quick on our feet. We had to just get it out there quickly and make it explode on social media. And I think that part went really well.
No, I love that. I love hearing that. I suppose the first question for me when we talk to a lot of people is why Abstract? And now I know if you obviously have seen a few clips of us, we've been on there since pretty much day one, streaming more prominently every single day over the sort of the past maybe month or two now. And for us, it's been, and I tweet about this quite often. And I know that's how they sell it, the consumer chain. But genuinely, as a trader, as someone that's been part of crypto for 9 years, Abstract has brought back fun to crypto, like a lot of things have tried to do for a long, long time. So at least I am very bullish on what Abstract has to give for creators, for builders, for traders, for devs, for NFTs, for meme coins, whatever it is. But I would love to know, why did you choose Abstract, and how long ago did you sort of plan to release your collection on Abstract?
So we chose Abstract a long time ago. Our socials have been going since around Feb, but the reason we chose Abstract was, I think Abstract is just positioned in a really good spot. I think they've done the hard part of, you know, making it consumer friendly. It's something you've not seen anywhere really before in
Yeah.
crypto, and it's easy for people to build dApps. You know, we're an art project,
Yeah.
but you know, for it's important for us as well that where we are, it's easy for people to build dApps because those are the people who are going to be, you know, expanding our presence, you know, with, and then you might see cameos of Dreamilio and other dApps and stuff. So we
Yeah.
wanted to make the place we're going to be at is the place where the biggest dApps are going to be built. And you know, some people may say, well, for traders, it's you know, it's not ideal or it's not this, but I feel like that's the easy part now, right? Most crypto
Yeah.
chains are for traders; they're tailored for that. I think that's a playbook that's already been done many times, and I think the hard part's been done, which is the consumer chain. And people, you know, talk about a lot of other things like, you know, what's the XP for? Is it an airdrop? And that's all cool and fun and all that. But I think if you're talking on a more, you know, on a deeper level, I think that's why we chose abstract.
Yeah, and I wanted to, sorry to cut you off there, Greeny. Or I wanted to find out, like, you picked abstract and you've dropped this collection. Is there? I guess what's a little bit of your backstory? Where is this a fresh project for you? I'm actually watching your mouth bob around. It's quite funny because
I
I'm
know,
always
with
like
the
getting ready
cigarette going
to,
in and out,
Yeah.
name
like
on
ready
the
for you to
wall.
talk. And I'm like, it's
It was
quite funny.
distracting me as well.
I'm like, shit, is he going to talk?
No,
What
no, it's
I
just
guess
sometimes so
I
nice.
guess for the fans out there, what were you doing prior to this? And I guess eventually what I want to lead into is how it came to this. But yeah, how long have you been in the space? What have you done? Or what are your passions?
Yeah, so actually before all the Dreamilio Maker stuff began, I was just a developer. So I was just a freelance developer. I did some stuff, you know, here and there in crypto, just as a contracts work. You know, I wasn't. I would do some stuff for a project here, some stuff for a project there, but other than that, I was sort of just observing in crypto, and I was just watching. I was just, you know, if I liked a project, maybe I'd mint something, or I'd just do a little bit of trading here and there. But for me, that was my first exposure to Remilio, which obviously is the collection that we're derivative of. But yeah, a lot of people have asked, you know, how did it start? It was really just a blank start, right? No, you know, we didn't have any special connections, any didn't really know anybody up high. Just started the X account. You know, before that, we'd actually been making the traits and working on the website and stuff for a while, and we had some stuff that we could put out there, and we're like, okay, this is like a good enough base, and then we just started the socials and just started posting, and yeah, just been doing it ever since.
It's weird, Greeny, how you can miss so much, huh? 'Cause like where you say that, or you were posting you on socials, I'm like, man, there's just so much other stuff that we get inundated every day. Because I feel like if I would have seen your art sooner, I would have been onto you so much sooner. So you got to keep your eyes peeled in this market, don't you? Because you miss so much.
And I think that
Yeah, definitely.
I think that pays why, like, and people get angry at like Coles, for example. It's a common term on the timeline. But to be honest, like marketing is massive, and if you don't market with the right people or in the right way or with the trusted sort of audiences, then your collection or your meme coin or whatever it is, your token drop or your airdrop, your whatever it is that you're building, your game, it's just not going to see the same satisfaction, or it's going to be a slower burn. And so, yeah, I agree. I think a big, massive shout out to Clemente. I know me and you literally live streamed us minting it. And I'm part of the Badogos, or was a Badogo for a long time. So that's kind of where I was chatting with a few people there that sort of gave me information on it as well. So yeah, it definitely pays to follow creators, guys, because they generally get the early alpha, whether they're paid or not. It doesn't really matter in my opinion, but they definitely allow sort of other audience members in the wider crypto space to capture some of that attention that is well deserved. And I mean, my question was going to sort of revolve around the art. Like, obviously, you just said before that it's a derivative of Remilio's over on Solana. On ETH. Now, I really like the background style and the art that you guys have created on Abstract. I don't know if it's just because it's more, I don't know if it's more vibrant. I don't know if it's just more kind of like up to date with current market takes and some of those sorts of things. What really sort of, why did you sort of take it in that more direction of that vibrant sort of color in your face sort of vibe compared to maybe some of the other derivative or other OG sort of collections with the same sort of style?
Yeah, to me, honestly, that was just something that I liked. So there's a name for the style. It's called Frutiger Aero, and it's, if you're a bit older, you guys might remember, back in the days when you had Sony Ericsson and those old phones and the first iPhone, and the design sort of used to be similar to what you see here with a lot of these 3D looking like designs and stuff in a lot of the UIs and a lot of the marketing and stuff. And it's sort of just a callback to that old style. So our website is also like, it looks like Windows XP, right? When you open the website, it's like the Windows XP login screen, and then you connect your wallet and it's a desktop.
Like
So
MSN Messenger throwbacks almost. That was almost a bit earlier, but sort of, that sort of nostalgia. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's actually what we based the skins off of. The blue skin and the green skin is the two MSN Messenger guys. Dude,
that's actually insane. Like that was prime me in like 2007, 2006. Like, I like, honestly though, just to add to that point, I think, lucky for me, like I just turned 30. I think I am like, our generation are very privileged because we were pre-technology and we were with the technology boom, and now we are very prevalent in the technology era. So absolutely like privileged to go through that sort of life, because now it's completely different for our new sort of generation. So that's cool. I love hearing that. That's what I think nostalgia is a big point of interest for a lot of like traders, for a lot of investors, or a lot of collectors out there, particularly with like NFTs, right? And I love to hear that.
Yeah, it's when you want to build a cult following, there needs to be a base for people to connect over. People are coming from all different walks of life and countries and backgrounds, and I think the nostalgia base is a really good part of that. People come into the chat and they instantly connect over that, right? Whether it's the RuneScape traits, the World of Warcraft traits, the old Windows looking traits, stuff like that. Like people just, Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, people just connect over it, and that builds that first part of the community, and then it's on you. It's on you to keep that going. So that was a big help as well in the collection. I think that was a massive thing that also helped it like spread on social media, because people would see things that they liked and be like, oh, I've not seen that in a while.
Yeah.
And they just share it.
And I think that's why Cambria did so well, Craig, because it brought a lot of nostalgia back from RuneScape for a lot of people who played early 2000s as well. So yeah, again, consumer chain is dominating what exactly crypto needs: fun and things to do. Now, one of the questions I have in the chat, which I was obviously going to ask, and is probably one of the most pressing questions that a lot of people are wondering, is how did you deal with the not minting out phase? And then obviously now that you hold around that 2.4K amount of the supply, what is the plan with that moving forward?
Yeah, I think that, in the not minting out phase and the slow phase, it's just, I think as a founder, you need to often have this weird level of conviction. And, a lot of people would say, burn the rest, or just.
Thank God you didn't, dude.
Yeah. And I've seen burn it, or just, cancel the mint and come back at another time, or stuff like that. And when you've got like tens of people at times maybe posting that and it's a slow mint, some people might think, it's let me change plan. But, I think if you know what you're doing and you've got conviction, you need to just stick with it. And sometimes it seems like it doesn't make sense. But for us, we're like, right, well, we're not going to burn the supply. It was kind of an unpopular choice, but we said we're going to take it back. And the plan with that is to sort of, now we have a large base of rewards for people that we can slowly drip feed back into the eco over time. Perfect. So people actually have something they want to earn. So, whether that's staking and buying up, NFTs through Dream Points, or if it's a collab with another project, or if it's a reward that we might drop to some projects like Gacha to give away, for example, or all of that. We now have that to use, and I think that's a massive factor. And also, if you want to talk more technically, it's good supply control, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of them might not ever even see the market, but it's good for us to sort of hold that and make sure that our supply is sort of very carefully, dictated on what's actually out there.
Greenie and I had actually spoken because we obviously minted live, and then it sat there for, I think, was it 4 days, 3 days?
Yeah, a few days. Yeah.
Which would have felt like an eternity to you, because it did to us who had minted. So for you would have been like, what the fuck's going on? And then obviously we saw it all of a sudden mint out, and we're like, holy crap. And then the floor started moving. I wish I'd known that it was you guys that had copped some of the mints, because I would have gone in so heavy. Because for me, a team buying their own is actually, I like that versus burning. So, I mean, I guess you could have still burnt it anyway. But yeah, I was like, holy shit, they're going to hold this much? Okay. So I was, Greenie, you and I spoke of Cam one day off stream and said, man, I wish I'd got that heads up. I would have dived a bit deeper, but it ended up working out really well for everybody.
I was away all weekend too, and I didn't even reveal mine until Sunday night Australian time, so Sunday morning American time, and I had a rare, and I loved it, but I was in the capacity that I was like, look, I am a trader at heart. I wanted to flip it and also give that potential PFP to someone who would rep it. I'm not sure if that has obviously happened, and I do plan on buying some more if we do see a bit more of a dip. I have been waiting, and we are dipping a little bit now. So
both Greenie and I actually have the same one that we kept and didn't sell, and it's the MSN background. So the same one, but we didn't even talk to each other about it, man. So I'm like, how the fuck do we end up with the same skin, anyway? So we both actually still hold, and we both kept the same, almost identical one, which is quite funny, actually, how both of us gravitated. So there's something in the trades
for everyone, and I think that's what that's what I was touching on earlier, like the nostalgia, the color, the variety. I think is the key as well, that a lot of NFT collections sort of miss. Another question that we did have is the Dream token directly related to you guys, or is that completely separate? And if it is related to you, sort of talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was actually our start. So our launch strategy was a bit weird, but it's one of the best decisions we made, even though it was one of the earliest. And we had the collection, and we didn't have all the traits back then, but we had the core ones that show off the spirit of the collection.
Yeah.
And the thought was to say, you know what, we're going to put this on Moonshot, and I think that's a good measure for if people are interested in seeing this. And so we put it on there because, it's difficult to start these days from scratch on socials. If you're just posting, you need to if you're someone who wants to start something, you need to do something. You can't just post. So we made that Moonshot, and it bonded pretty fast, about in an hour or so, or a bit less. And that was the first big boom. So back then we only had the Telegram outside of the Discord, and that was going so fast. People were sending messages. So some of our earliest supporters were from that, and they probably still hold to this day. And a lot of our community, our two main community managers that we met, that had the connections to sort of later help us on, we actually met through that event, and they saw it, and they said, hey, I saw this Moonshot. I went onto the website. I liked it. I liked the vibe of the project. I want to help you guys push this. So, that was really important for us. But as for the future, the token, it will be, used for, it's essentially, I see it as our way for other communities to interface with us, right?
Yeah.
So if we have something in a game, for example, like a Dreamilio hat or something, we want to make it so that if we put that in someone else's game, people have to spend Dream to buy that, right? Or people have to spend Dream to get Dreamilio related stuff in other games, or even to buy back some of the treasury that we have, right? So it's a token. It's a way for us to communicate, cross community, for people to buy into our eco. And I think it's also a soft entry, right? As the floor goes up, some people might get priced out.
Yeah.
And people want entry into the eco in some way, and I think it's a soft way for people to enter if they have some amount of Dream, they can still have some level of investment in the project.
No, I love that. I literally just bought some Dream. I'm very much a wait for consolidation phase, and we are
It's on a pullback now. Actually,
50% pullback. So I bought some right now. That's exactly what Greeny does. Greeny likes to buy red candles, not green candles.
We were actually talking about it on stream, I think a day or two ago, or Greeny and I pulled up the chart and we were like, holy shit, we can't buy this thing. It was up like 8x or something on the day. We're like, it was like a piss rocket like that. We've been waiting for it to come back down. So I had a look at it just before you jumped on because I wanted to see how long the token had been around. And I think it's been around since about the 1st of May?
February.
Oh, February. Sorry, 1st of February, not May. Yeah, so a little. It's actually been around a little while. One of the questions I had, Aura, was surrounding derivatives. When you decided to do your Dreamilio and do a derivative, what were there? What were your thoughts about that, on how the Dreamilio community would either accept you, what they think about it? Was there? Run me through that, because it must be a tricky thing to kind of semi-navigate, to do it justice and things like that.
Yeah, so I think that it sort of depends. These days, many derivatives sort of keep to their own. I was always a fan of Milady and Dreamilio, so to me, I wanted to create something in that space. But as for other derivatives, I think, the general trend has been, maybe a bit of civil war, or a bit of everybody sort of keeping in their own lane. And, it's to be expected. I wasn't too sure, what exactly might happen. Some of the derivatives just like to purely keep to themselves. Some of them like to go on the offensive. Some of them just like to, collaborate. They're open to collaborating. We collaborated with a derivative called Kinfolks, which is maybe a lesser known one, but those guys were awesome. So yeah, it really depends on where they are, what chain they're on, what their culture is over there, and that's what dictates what their outlook is on other derivatives.
Because I saw some one of the unspokenable projects looked like they wanted to have a bit of a war with you. Recently, we don't need to get together. Yeah. What was it, Hypio or whatever, on Hyperchain or whatever? Hey, I was like, oh my god, that's so good.
That's stuff to be expected.
Yeah, I think that just comes with being successful, dude. Unfortunately, sometimes. And I guess, look, one of my other questions was going to be for you, is kind of touching on that, but not that specifically. But what were some of the challenges you faced with bringing this product to the customer? What were some of the biggest challenges, if any? Honestly, was it just all good?
To bring it to people, it was just a matter of getting it in front of people's eyes. I was always confident that once people saw it, they would like it. But when you're starting from nothing, it's oftentimes difficult. You need to find that entry point. For us, that was the big challenge, as it is for most projects. We were very thankful though that the Bearish community, Bearish NFT, were super cool, and they partnered with us very early. Actually, they we whitelisted all Bearish holders, and they posted about us, and we made them a special Bear Dreamilio, and so yeah, that was a really good breakthrough for us. But until then, it was just sort of, you want to sort of crack into that mind share. You want to sort of claw as much mind share as you can get, and get people thinking about your project. And I think it's difficult up until it's not, and then it's just a tipping point, and it goes crazy from there, as we've seen.
Yeah, beautiful.
So we were chatting on stream the other day with, I think it was Festige from the Bodogo community. I think he said he was a mod in your community, which might be. Yeah. And he was suggesting that there's obviously more in the plans, in the works, behind the scenes, with your collection, and obviously with the 2.4K that we discussed before. He mentioned the treasury, and you mentioned that before. He mentioned staking and that side of potentially avenues within your project. Can you briefly touch on, or even go into a little bit more details about what treasury is, and how people could get involved, or what they can expect with some updates moving forward, and perhaps maybe on the time frame around potentially staking or the treasury for NFT holders, or the people who are staking?
Yeah, so staking it's something we're working on. It's hopefully going to come out sooner rather than later. Thankfully, in the abstract space, there's some really good tools built out for this kind of thing. So, and they're powerful tools as well. So you don't really need to build everything from scratch. So we've been looking at tools that we could use for that, and we're looking at one right now that we're gonna do a test on in the next 2 weeks, and I think that may end up being the solution we go with. But I think staking is something we want to prioritize getting out ASAP, because we want people to start earning their points. We want people to start stacking their dream points, and you don't want people to wait too long, right? Like, you want people to have a reason to put their Dreamilios away. And I think staking is a good way to do that. It's a good way to, we're sort of like a cult-like community. We want to hold community events. And for example, if we hold a poker night, let's say you could win, if it's not like a paid in one, you could just win, dream points, right? So I think it's also like a good incentive driver for a lot of people in the community. So staking, I'm thinking, can't make any concrete promises, but within the next 2 weeks or so, I think we'll have something out there.
Yeah, very cool. No, that's exciting. And I mean, no pressure, honestly. A lot of time. I think a lot of collections and teams and builders probably rush. And I think a lesson that I've certainly learned in my crypto journey is time is actually an important factor, and things do take time, and good things take even more time. And so, yeah, I'm a patient man. I'm happy to hear that it does take a little bit more time to get that up and going. The two follow-up questions I have for that: all of it will be built within the abstract portal is the goal, I assume. And then secondly, what are dream points? So obviously we've got the dream token. We obviously have the Dreamilio NFTs. What do the points sort of insinuate as an eventual goal for those who are looking to accumulate them?
So the points are going to basically be our currency for people who want to. Let's say we get allocations, or we get rewards or things like that. I think it's points are what you want to have. So we're gonna have multipliers on points, right? So if you have a rare trait, that's gonna earn you more points per day. You can cash in your points every day. You can complete some missions to get points. You can wager points. You can tip other Dreamilios points if you want to, and you'll be able to do all that kind of stuff. And if you stack Dreamilios, you'll get more points. So I think for us, it's a good way to have. And we're going to have a shop, right, where you can buy some NFTs. We might rotate it weekly or monthly, and there's going to be stuff in there that people might want to snap up, or there's going to be stuff in there that people are going to wait to get into the shop. So I think it's a good reason for people to keep checking back. I think our cult community is going to always be checking this stuff daily, but for the more casual holder who's just he's just set it and forget it, and he just wants to check in every once in a while, it's like a good way for people to come in and see what's in the shop. Maybe there's something cool. You probably earn some points in the background while you're just staking it, and you might get something cool out of it.
Yeah, amazing. There's some sick art. I literally just ranked the collection from rare to common, and oh my god,
the rares are crazy, eh?
Dude, there's some epic, like
there's
genuinely
some
epic.
great '90s video game nostalgia in there. Dude.
Oh, dude, so good.
Like, I lost my mind on some of it. Actually, I was like, "Fuck!" I wish on reveal I had been more active and present. I don't know what time they started revealing, but I wish I'd watched the floor and sniped the shit out of that, because there's so many rippers, man. I wanted to ask as well, and this comes from the abstract person in me. Is there any way to tie in staking with for the abstract XP earners out there, for those that want to earn XP? Because obviously, the way that I got introduced to this ecosystem by Greenie wasn't so much that it was abstract, and you'll probably hear this a lot. It was like, okay, Craig, there's this abstract airdrop that may come. You should earn some abstract. And so obviously I've come to the ecosystem, and it's exactly what you said. It's been very easy. It's been very it's been great. Some of the games is that something you guys plan to tie in the future, or is that happening right now? Is there an XP earn that can be made through your NFTs or through the staking and things like that on the platform?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, actually. So we're taking a soft staking approach. so you could still have them in the wallet. You could still earn XP,
Yeah.
and I know that's super important to people.
Yeah.
So people want to earn XP, right? So it's a difficult choice if we ask you to stake it, to hard stake it somewhere. So it's a soft staking situation. It might be like, you can't list your Dreamilio below a certain price, or you'll face penalties for point earning, stuff like that. So you can still have it in your wallet. You can still earn XP, and as long as it's unlisted, or listed above a certain price, you'll still earn Dream points.
Ooh, okay. Well, there's a bit of alpha, everyone. There's a bit of alpha, and the price just friggin' bounced, Greeny. I'm watching it. Yeah, I'm like, get out, you dirty dogs that are listening. I'm like,
looking for a
red
rare close to floor currently, actually.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
had a little bounce there. Yeah, you fire away, Greeny.
No, well, I suppose we've covered quite a lot of things at the moment. So I suppose we want to step it back a little bit again. And oh, geez, I'm trying to, like, my wallet won't connect properly to Magic Eden at this point.
You're trying to buy one.
Literally, I am trying to buy one after buy some of the tokens. So, like, I suppose, like, where do you see this project going, and like exceeding obviously the staking and stuff that we're talking about, and the dream points and that sort of stuff? Do you have a long-term goal with where you hope this collection can maybe get to, even post abstract airdrop, that sort of side of things? Or are you just more focused on build it as you sort of go, see what happens, and just kind of keep going until things change on the ecosystem or on that particular chain?
Yeah, I think Dreamilio is definitely a long-term play for us. It's something that you just you ingrain yourself as part of the community. You just set it away, and we gather as many opportunities as we can. I think we're definitely up to a lot of stuff in the background. Some stuff I can't say.
Very cool.
But there's some big stuff that we're setting up in the background, and for me the goal is to make Dreamilio as a community where, if we see a project on abstract, especially if it's grown from within our community, and we decide we want to grow that as a community, we can just absolutely moon it. And as long as they're willing to give back to the community in a big way, then we're willing to support that. And I think that's a good incentive, and it's a nice flywheel for having community members create valuable things. They assign a big allocation to the community. The community in return supports. Everybody sort of wins. There's value created there. When there's more value created, people have more resources to make more cool things. More projects grow from within the community, and then we sort of start to grow our own homegrown projects, and they give back to us, and we give back to them.
Yeah, very cool. Because at the end of the day, like, a collection succeeds based on how strong their community and how supportive their community is of the founders, of the team, of the community themselves, and sort of onboarding more people to that particular community, which kind of leads me to my next question. Like, what sort of target market are you looking for? Now, historically, Miladies, Remilios, all those sort of collections, which do state sort of similar art to you guys, are more of that, I don't want to say like the wrong thing, but like, they're more of that kind of troll. They're more of that sort of sarcastic sort of meme. Let's call it a meme-related NFT collection, right? That's probably the best way to describe it. Are they still the same sort of market that you're
trying to be very tactful here? It's good.
Trying to be very civil here.
He doesn't want to get attacked by the Miladies, eh?
Oh, dude, the Miladies. Honestly, hey, I own some Dreamilios now, so I'm part of that part of that community. So I suppose, yeah, like, community is important, as I mentioned. So is that sort of the same community, or because we are moving more into that consumer abstract chain, are you focused more on the broader reach of what can be achieved with that?
Yeah, it's for us, we're extremely right. So we come from Milady, so obviously there's going to be some of that spirit in there. But for us, we're bullish on abstract, and the way we see it is that if abstract wins, we win, and if other projects on abstract win, we win. So it's not you're going to have people in the community, especially when it's a cult-like community, and people really believe in it, and this is what who they are. There's going to be some people who are very intense, which we've seen even in the last few days. But for me, there's no real reason to there's a bit of trolling. We do a bit of trolling, right?
But everyone does.
Yeah,
I like it, bro. I like it. Keep going.
But for us, like, Yeah, I mean, it's not a PvP environment, right? And
Right.
that's another reason why we picked Abstract.
I like
If
it.
it's a PvP
Smart.
environment, there's a lot of blood spilled everywhere, and it becomes a difficult environment for anybody to build on. Everybody's just extracting on each other, and it's not an environment conducive for any success. So yeah, we don't have a really PvP mentality on Abstract. We're we're abstract maxis maybe, so we know if someone threw me a Solana project, I might be like, oh, okay, I'm not that interested, but
Yeah.
that's just how it goes.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. I suppose my follow-up question, which kind of does align with Abstract and the Pudgy Penguin sort of ecosystem in general, right, is social media. Now, we've seen obviously the dominance of the Giphies, the Pudgy Penguin presence in top creators. I think literally, didn't Elon share a Pudgy-related meme recently, or someone had a Pudgy-related meme recently that was like literally as viral as you can get? I think this collection, your collection, can definitely tap into that particular market. So I wanted to ask, are there aspirations to build maybe more community members out through TikTok or through Instagram, based on those sort of meme or that troll sort of related content, with obviously the collection in that focus?
I think for us the main avenue is sort of community created memes. So to TikTok for us might not be the best fit. I think for us X is sort of
Yeah.
where we live, and it's conducive to what we do, right? We have a lot of people who love to post copy pastas, and you might have seen them in the replies of some of your posts or in someone else's posts, and they quote tweet. Easy Eats, for example, is somebody pinged him about Dreamilio, and then he replied, "Go bother Clemente with this." And then he had 50, and then and then he had 50
Clemente's up
replies
10x
also
easy.
saying,
Okay.
"Go bother Clemente with this." They all copied it and replied the same thing. So that's what we do, and
That's
like
that's how
defensive
people
though,
see
right?
us.
That's great chat. That's great chat.
Yeah. So
No,
that's I think how we spread.
yeah, I mean, CT is such a powerful place. I mean, you've got Finn, you've got top creators on there, all repping your collection as their PFP on Twitter to tens of thousands of people daily. It's
Bro, that was a
fantastic,
massive moment, by the way.
fantastic to see. Yeah,
Yeah, that was huge. And honestly, to be honest, that's sort of we were always bullish on Abstract, but when we saw that was sort of the nail in the coffin, and it's clear to see, right? The team, they've got their finger on the pulse,
Yeah.
and they can tell sort of what's happening within their own eco. A lot of foundations and teams aren't too connected with their own eco. They sort of,
Yeah.
it's the kingdom below. They don't really know what's going on there. But the Abstract team is in the weeds with it, and they know what's going on, and they're quick onto things, and I think that's something that makes me more bullish about the eco as well.
I wanted to say as well, just from a consumer point of view, seeing Finn swap his PFP made me bullish as a consumer on the Abstract chain. Two reasons. One, bullish because I held your NFTs, so it pumped the price.
Yeah.
Your bags.
Okay, makes sense.
So, but more importantly to that is just because I'm trying to earn XP, and I'm trying to build my brand on Abstract. Seeing one of the big boys in that ecosystem give a tip of the hat to a collection building from ground level. And I don't want that to come across like it maybe sounds. I don't mean ground level like it's a bad thing. I just mean that, like you just said, they seem tuned in and they seem to read the room really well. And I'm quite impressed with how they're moving, which actually keeps me in the ecosystem, which then keeps me shilling Abstract stuff. So I'm like what you just said. I'm really bullish on them for doing that. They're very active, and I think I woke up in the morning and saw that, and I just messaged Greeny and went, "Jackpot, man! This is going to go bonkers, bro."
Yeah.
And also the cool thing was, it was great to see a project where I thought I personally really like their art, so it was great to see a project. And by the way, Abstract was I think screaming for this. And that's easy to say in hindsight, but I'd spoken to Greeny a little bit, and when people I was looking at Abstract, like what PFP would I use from this chain? They're just, I want to say there weren't any. Where you guys came along, and all of a sudden I was like, shit, I'd actually PFP that, which is which is an important thing. And I'm not just saying that because you're on stream. Definitely not. I mean, I'd actually PFP it. And then I thought, shit, if I'd PFP it, for me, that's kind of like quite a breakthrough moment for Abstract, because that's regardless of chain. So kudos to you for breaking down that boundary where now Abstract, I think, is a sick PFP, where when people go there, they're not like, fuck, what I pick? Because when I first went there, it was like, I pick a, you know, no shame to anything out there. Everyone's got different strokes for different folks, right? But yeah, I was thankful. So yeah, thanks, man, for giving the older people something to fucking us legends, you know, I wanted something to gravitate to. So and I probably Greenie probably felt the same.
Oh, absolutely. I think you're right. It's just, it was fresh, right? It was an exciting project with fresh art, like I've touched on, that has nostalgia, and a lot of people can relate to different aspects of the variety that you provide. And I think that's the key for investors, collectors, traders, and just general market participants over on the consumer chain. I wanted to ask, what other aspects of Abstract excite you the most within the consumer chain? So in other words, we've spoken briefly about obviously the team. We obviously love the Pudgy Penguin sort of ecosystem as it is, but what other sort of games or trading or whatever aspects of the Abstract ecosystem excite you the most moving forward?
To me, you know, something that I find exciting is the streaming feature. So it's something that I think is super cool, especially for our community, right? So something we're looking at right now is to find some community streamers who are willing to do, you know, weekly Dreamilio themed streams. So I think that's huge, especially for our kind of community.
Yep.
And even outside of that, if you're building like a DApp, right, you know, a potential avenue for you to get that in front of people is to, instead of, you know, maybe partnering with a lot of KOLs, you could take a different route and you could say, okay, I'm going to partner with the top streamers or a lot of streamers on Abstract. So when you hop onto there, people see your game. So I think that's exciting because it gives people another entry point into Abstract. Whereas in other chains, you know, you either do it organically, you partner with some KOLs, or there's no other way. I think it's another entry point, and I think it's probably going to lead to some cool games. In terms of the games I'm a fan of, I like on-chain heroes. I think they're cool. You know, Gigaverse are cool as well. So we're hoping we'll see what we can do on that front. But yeah, I think, you know, Abstract has got some of the genuinely, you know, good games here. Like, you know, a lot of other crypto games are just, you know, farming reskinned with like a game skin on it. But I think on Abstract you have real actual games, so people can just sit here and play a game and not feel bored like when they're on the eco.
And a bit of variety, I reckon, as well. Hey, Greenie, there's a bit of variety there now. So you can play blackjack, for God's sake, or you can do. It's just so much different stuff, which is kind of, it's built out quickly, really quickly.
I think the one aspect they do need is a shooter game, and I'm sure someone's building that, but that does take time, and I think that'll bring a lot more people to the chain as well, which is super exciting. But no, I definitely agree with you. I think the streaming part in itself, I mean, massive shout out to Jassim, who just tipped me 500 Pengu. That's a classic example of how good Abstract is, because it goes straight to my wallet. No taxes, no fees, no middlemen. Straight to my wallet. Massive shout out to Jassim for the tip as well. But yeah, how good is that for a creator, but also for collections like yourself who can market in a different way, as you say, and drive sort of not necessarily price action, but hype and attention and eyes to your collections.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you know, I think it's and there's something else that we're doing. You know, you see this Dreamilio, I have this talking, you know, a lot of streamers don't want to be doxxed when they stream, right? They don't want to have their face on there. So for us, it's another thing of like, if you have a Dreamilio and you're a streamer, you know, get in touch, right? We can make stuff like this for you, and it makes it so that people see Dreamilio all over the streams, and people become more connected to their Dreamilio. It becomes your, you know, persona, and when you're streaming, it's what you're streaming with. So that's another thing that we're doing, and I think that's you know, amazing. All right, that's there because of the streaming, right? And people are able to stream a lot because there's no fees.
Exactly. I think that's a great idea for a lot of aspiring creators. And you know what I love? Like, you touched on it already. There's people who haven't created content before, who want to stay doxed, who are still remaining doxed by doing exactly as what you're doing, just with their pudgy penguins. Woo is a big creator on there. Froggy's a big creator on there, all just using the same sort of software that you're using, doing undoxed live streams. And I think it's just epic because it's giving more people sort of like less influencers, but more focused on the ground level of content creation from people who are within that communities within those games, within that sort of chain, right?
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it opens the doors up for people to get involved and to start doing it. And we want to do it for all the top streamers, but we also want to get it done for a lot of people. And that's another thing we'll have in our shop, right? So it's let's say you stake your Dreamilio, you get some dream points, you might want to exchange it for and you could do it for an honorary, right? You might have to save up a lot of points for that, or you could do it for a VTuber like this. You might have to save up a few points for that. So that's another incentive we have. So we'll want to cultivate that side as well.
Amazing. Craig, do you have any questions? We might have to wrap, so I don't know or on your time frame today, but is an hour.
I do have one, Greeny. I've one.
An hour stream.
One pressing question before we go.
Yeah, sure.
Aura, what is your favorite trait? That's what I need to know. What's your favorite trait?
My favorite traits.
Is it the Mog glasses? Is it the Mog sunglasses, the Pit Vipers?
That's
my
right.
favorite traits. My number one. It's difficult because there's so many that I'm actually forgetting some of them. I always look back and I'm like, oh wait, that was in there as well. I think to me, to me, one of my favorites might be the Shadow Niqab. That one's really good. I think that one is one of my favorites. Yeah.
Oh my god, I sold one of them.
Did you?
That's the one I minted and I flipped it.
Yeah, Greeny ended up with a rock star rare. I actually ended up. You possibly saw it on the timeline. Alyssa, how do you say her name? Alyssa.
Yeah.
She grabbed. I had the one with the. Was it the? I'm old, guys, so forgive me here for not knowing this. It was the Pokemon, but is it Platinum Ice? What is that Pokemon?
It's Diamond, yeah.
Diamond. Fuck, I'm too old for this chat. I was around when the OGs around, motherfucker. Anyway, so so there we go. But that's a really good example there, I think, of how important or powerful traits are. Because it was funny. I posted it as a joke saying, "Is this rare?" I didn't actually realize when I revealed it. I didn't know how. I just thought it looked fucking sick. And then the next day I woke up and she had posted that because we weren't following. Oh, I was following her. She wasn't following me, but she has now. So thank you. But she wrote, "Who owns the? Well, I need this," and it was the picture of my one, and I'm like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Man, how beautiful is this?" And I deemed her and I said, "Man," because I had it up for a bit more expensive, and I was like, "I'll let it go for your offer." Like, that's great. Like someone, a content creator who wants it, someone who's actually going to rep that particular NFT as a PFP. It's a waste of my wallet because it was too feminine for me. I wouldn't run that one. Mog would be the one I run. So I was like, beautiful. Someone who's prominent, who loves it, can have it. And it was, it's just one of those. It reminded me of collecting cards and all that again. When you had something that someone really wanted, it was one of those moments. And I haven't felt that in NFTs for, man, I don't know if I can say years, but yeah. So again, congrats on the traits, dude. You've nailed it. When people are willing to pay 5 times floor for a trait is dope. So yeah, man.
Yeah. I just looked that one up actually. I remembered it, but I just had to look it up.
It was my favorite trait.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
That was a really good one.
Yeah, that was sick. But just want to give you a huge shout out. Thanks for coming on tonight with us, Greeny. I'll let you do the outro, but shout out to Aura and shout out, bro, Greeny, massive audience here, dude. I got 500 and X watching you, Aura. So you're red hot, man. You're red hot.
Yeah, it's great to see. Over 1,000 for a live stream, which is good. We that's where we used to be at peak bull market last year. So it's good to see those numbers returning. And I mean, it's fantastic that it's on a topical conversation on a collection that's on Abstract right now, and it just shows proof of how attention grabbing it currently is and where the potential could actually go moving forward. So no, massive shout out to Aura for joining us today on the live stream. I suppose, Aura, like I don't normally ask this, but did you have any questions for us as more of a users within the ecosystem and that side of thing? I think a lot of the time, I and Craig obviously ask a lot of questions of the founders, of the builders, but I think sometimes they're more intrigued sometimes about some of the things that we also maybe know about it. So I wanted to, that's sort of the last question that I had for you today. Is there anything you wanted to either discuss as a close about your collection, or any particular questions that you had for us?
So yeah, actually, I see the penguin in your background. Is that a Pudgy, the plushie in the back?
That is a plushie. Yeah, I picked that up. So Craig and I went down to Australia's CryptoCon in, I think it was November last year.
It's stolen in Australia. Yeah. It's just another way of saying stole.
Yeah. We went to the Pudgy Penguin /Mog/Infinex event on the Friday night, and they were giving away plushies. And I was like, well, I own a Pudgy Penguin. And the guys that were there from Pudgy Oceania were like, yeah, Green, you can take one. That's fine, bro. Because I mean, like, and classic, as we've said, like, I've had this in my background now for 6+ months, and everyone's always be like, oh, is that a Pudgy Penguin in the background? And if you see, that's a Bodogo, what do you call it? Yeah, board as well. So massive shout out to them for sending that to me late last year as well. So I had a Bodogo for a long time as my PFP as well, part of their ecosystem, jumped on their podcast a few times as well. So yeah, it's nice that people have given back as a creator in this space. It's nice to get that recognition, I suppose.
So for you guys, you've been on Abstract for a while. Then I'm assuming, I mean, you obviously have a Pudgy, so you're bound to end up here. For what was it for you guys that actually was it something like Dreamilio before, like another NFT PFP, or were you guys just bullish on the eco, or was it the streaming, right? You guys create content, and that's a tool for you guys.
I'll let Craig answer first.
For me, it was two things. One was the possibility of an airdrop or a claim through just being active in the ecosystem. But probably, actually, funny enough, more importantly to that now has been, since streaming, it's opened up doors that wouldn't have been opened on another chain. So now, for me, the hook isn't, look, I want the reward, man. Don't get me wrong. We're all here for that. As a creator and content, as a creator, we want to talk to interesting people and people that are building and creating. And for me personally, and I'm sure Greenie will vouch for this, Abstract's given me certainly a massive opportunity to chat to people that I've wanted to chat to that I may not have been able to on, say, Ethereum or something like that. So that's been the bullish thing for me. So I dare say, even after Abstract, it'll probably keep me. As long as builders keep coming here, then as long as I've got someone to talk to, I love this space. I love the platform. I think it's very simple to use, and I love the fact that when I traveled, I was able to log in, and I didn't have to have my main computer with me. Could be on your phone or your laptop, and I still had access to all the same things. I was like, oh my god, like it was. Isn't it silly that I'm saying that's like an amazing feature? Like,
that should be basic, right?
Yeah. So when I didn't actually click how bullish I was. And then when I went away on holiday and I was able to do everything I could normally do, I was like, nah, this is fucking great, bro. Like, yeah, because normies need it to be fucking easy. None of my friends are coming across if it's complicated. They don't have time to do all the research. So yeah, and yourself, Greenie, what would you say to that?
Yeah, look, obviously, like I'm a trader at heart, and so I was always looking for the next sort of best opportunity. I knew that Abstract was coming. That was pretty much why I bought my Pudgy way back in November, December last year, before Pengu was even a topical conversation. So that was just a extra bonus for me and whoever else got into that. But no, I agree with what Craig has said. It's a range of different reasons. It's content creation. I think it's been excellent that we've created content. I mean, I had Bitcoin content that went super viral, again, helping my brand grow on Twitter, as well as exposure on Abstract. We now stream at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time every single day. We stream, which is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the night before. It's led to exactly like Craig said. We interviewed OSF more recently. We've both interviewed other founders and creators in the ecosystem. And ideally, hopefully, we can get some more of the team in the future as well, which would be super exciting. But I think it's just a possibility that sort of comes within the airdrop. And I know Clemente and a few people have mentioned, look, a lot of the time with airdrop farming, it's a lose money process throughout the airdrop season. And then once the actual airdrop does come out, that's when you sort of get your money back, or hopefully more profit. But for me, Abstract isn't like that. It's a place where people can go to explore, to have fun. You can be a gamer, you can be a streamer, you can be a clipper. Like I've connected with people from all the way around the world at 15, 16 years age who are making money like clipping some of these streams right now. And I think that's just fantastic, right? So it's again, like I mentioned it earlier, like it's the perfect consumer chain for a range of different reasons. It appeals to so many people. You can literally go on there, create your own meme coin. You can go on there, build your own game. You can sell all your different products on there. We've seen some of those sort of apps go really viral over the past couple of weeks or so. You've got roach racing, you've got so many Gigaverse, On-Chain Heroes, which is about to hopefully see season 2 in the coming weeks. There's a lot going on, and I think it's a great place for people to be. And the beautiful part is, if you take the farming mindset out of this potential airdrop and actually explore and have fun, I think those are the people that are going to do the best when it does come to that eventual airdrop later in the year.
Yeah, I agree, right? There's so many different avenues, and it's not just the airdrop. You know, that's obviously a big thing that's brought a lot of people here, and you know, that's gonna I see that just as an explosion point for, you know, things just going absolutely crazy from that point onwards. But you know, we're this strong already, and even if things just stayed like this, which you know they won't, but I think already, you know, Abstract is sticking around.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I suppose last thing, is there anything else you wanted to touch on for the people who are watching in? We've got over 1.1K at the moment, which is fantastic. But yeah, any last sort of conversations or topics you wanted, or details about Dreamilio that you wanted to let loose? Maybe a little bit of alpha drop at the end of the episode, potentially.
For me, I would say, you know, if the alpha, bit of alpha, you know, we're incubating some stuff right now that we think is going to be cool for people with Dreamilio. So it's yeah, I'd say, look, just if you have a Dreamilio, just get involved in the community, check out the staking, you know, get to know people, get involved, and you know, we'll be bringing some cool stuff. We're definitely working on some pretty crazy stuff.
That sounds dope. And as Craig and I both said before, thank you so much for joining us. Busy schedule ahead, I'm sure. I know you've got a few more streams locked in over the coming days as well.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks you guys for having me. It was fun, you know. It's honestly, it's amazing, you know, what's happened these last few days, and you know, the opportunity to have these kind of conversations is always amazing as well. And I've seen your guys' clips, you know, before the show. Some people sent them to me, and I'd watch through them, and I was like, you know, yeah, let's do it. It'd be fun. And yeah, it was a fun time, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, fuck yeah. All right. Hey, big shout out to you and your community for putting us in touch. Just want to say, yeah, again, thanks for jumping on, brother. Thanks for sharing the alpha, and everyone go out and buy a Dreamilio.
Or buy 5 or 6 of them. That's what I'll
grab a few for your friends.
Yeah, no, well, easy. Or thanks so much again for your time, and hopefully we can do another live stream maybe in a month's time or something once a little bit more is unraveled within what you're building.
Let's do it. Looking forward to it.
Sounds epic. All right, guys, as always, thanks for tuning in. We very much appreciate all your support, all your tips on Abstract as well. Fantastic to see, over 1.1K. That's the biggest stream we've had for a long time. So the bull market is certainly back when you start to see social numbers go up. But as always, guys, we are here in bear markets. We're here in bull markets. So if you want consistent alpha and education in all of cryptocurrency, check out Craig's Coin Purse or Greeny Trades on all the socials, Twitter, YouTube, Abstract as well. But Aura, massive shout out to you. Thanks again. And have a lovely afternoon, mate. Enjoy chatting to our friend Eli over in the States later today.
Tell him today. Cheers.
I'll send a message. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Easy. All right. As always, thanks, guys. And Craig and I will see you again tomorrow, 9 a.m. See you soon.